Hey.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. My guest, Elana Sissison, is here, and I am super excited to talk to her. And I'm excited for you to hear what she does and how she can help you. So, Elana, share with the people who you are.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Elana and I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa. A long way away from most of you. But what I do is something absolutely wonderful. It's in the holistic health realm and it's called BodyTalk. One of the things I do is called BodyTalk. And it's a holistic healing modality where you get to the story behind people's symptoms. So unlike, when you go to a normal doctor and he will listen to your symptoms and perhaps prescribe something to help you, well, hopefully the tablet will help you. This works in a different way in that you lie on a plinth, a massage table, and we get a feedback, a neuromuscular feedback from your wrist. We get a yes or a no response from the body as to where we have to go on these big charts and which parts of the body we have to link with other, because in this world we live in, there's so much stress and there are things that have compromised our bodies working like they should. So EMF and diet and excessive stress and things that we brought in through generations, so they all impact how our body works. And eventually it's like a river that becomes blocked. And this one gets the sinus, and another gets the heart problems, and the next one gets irritable bowel syndrome. But it's all because our bodies aren't synchronized the way they should be. And the liver isn't, say, communicating with the gallbladder the way it should, or parts of the brain aren't communicating with other parts. So when I say this, I'm talking about energetically.
Yes.
And so what BodyTalk does is when a client comes, no matter what they come from, what they come for, we just are guided through the charts and this yes no feedback, where to go on the charts, what parts of the body to balance. What a big part of it is a lot of emotions come up that have to be released because most of us don't process our emotions properly. And so
Right.
they sit in the body and they cause all kinds of distress. And sometimes, and what's so nice about BodyTalk, like I can be taken to, say, the liver, and then I can ask, are there details on that, which is
Hmm.
so nice. And sometimes I get, yes, there's a detail. Is it a
Okay.
person? Is it a place? Is it around an animal? Is it an emotion? Yes, it's an emotion. So then I ask, what is the emotion? Is it joy? Is it sadness? Is it depression? Is it anger? And then from this yes, no response, I get the information, which is amazing.
Mm.
And then I'll say to the client, we're working with the liver, say, and we're balancing it to this part, and there's an emotion of anger around it. Are you feeling very angry? And they probably will say, actually, yeah, I'm very, very angry at the moment.
Hmm.
So it's very nice because it brings a lot of awareness to the client, but also the things that come up aren't necessarily from now. They
Hmm.
can be things that happened when the client was at school and bullied by someone, or the teacher
Oh,
said
wow.
something that they took into themselves and, then developed a low self-esteem just based on what the teacher said. So not that it's actually realistic, but it's how they perceived the incident. We often get
Yes.
taken to say belief systems. Is it a
Yep.
belief system of the heart? Meaning, is it a belief system that the person, how they feel about themselves? Is it a belief system about love? Is it about loving someone else? Is it about loving themselves? And I'll say, I'm getting the info that you don't love yourself at all. And the client might say, well, no, I don't. And then we do a special, the way BodyTalk works is when you've got, it's called a formula, all this information of parts of the body that connect to different parts and information. Sometimes we get information more on it, sometimes we don't. And then when we've got this, we do a tapping. We do a tapping on the brain, which tells the brain to fix those things we've been working on. A tapping on the chest, which tells the body to save those fixes, like on a computer, the save
Okay.
button. And then tapping on the on the stomach area, which is where we integrate. You know, we assimilate food and everything, so that's where we integrate the changes. And
Yes.
then when we've done that, we go to the next thing. Okay, so what do we have to go to now? And what's so interesting is that, say somebody comes in for chronic backache,
Mm-hmm.
they could have gone to a doctor and the doctor tells them there's nothing wrong. Well, there's obviously not nothing wrong, because if there was nothing wrong, they wouldn't be in pain. So the answer is, where is the problem? The problem is lying in their emotional self, in their psychological being, or in their spiritual being. So that is where the problem is sitting. And I see it in Body Talk every day, because when I'm drawn to get to the parts of the body and we tap and we work on that, suddenly within 2 sessions or 3, they'll tell you, oh my God, the pain's so much better. So yes, there was a reason for the pain, but it's not physical.
Yes.
And sadly, the medical profession, they are brilliant in so many ways, but
You
they
mean,
just are not, they don't, they can't take into account, or they don't, or they're unable to see what's going on psychologically, subconsciously, and with the spiritual side of the person. And so much of a person's problems or illness or dis-ease in the body is coming from there. I've seen
yeah,
it.
yeah, because they compartmentalize care. You know,
Yeah.
they say, okay, that's why you go to the specialist, you go to the heart specialist, because that's all they look
Yeah.
at. You go to the back, you know, the orthopedic or whoever, you go to the kidney doctor, whoever. And
Breaks
they're
the
just looking
bones.
at that thing as if the body is separate, you know, compartments of, but the body is a whole body.
It's all these interconnected systems
Yeah.
that if you look at one and fix one, then the next thing, the next part's not going to be. And that's why I love Body Talk, because it's so integrative. And like the other day, I had a woman from Israel, somebody who knows I do Body Talk, knows this woman, and this woman has been walking around in stomach pain for about a year. She's gone to every doctor, which, by the way, I do believe one must first go and make sure that there's nothing physical and medical, because, I
Yes.
mean, something that is, and there's no, one can do Body Talk as an adjunct, but obviously, if you need medication or if there's something actually wrong physically, you've got to attend to it. Anyway, this poor woman was on holiday here in South Africa, trying to enjoy herself. She went to game farms. She was doubled over in pain. And this woman I know said, for goodness sake, just go to my friend, which is me, and try. Now, she is, her sister is married to a top medical doctor in Johannesburg, who obviously said it's a lot of garbage and rubbish and don't waste your time. But eventually she thought, I may as well give it a try. So she came, and she explained what was going on, and I do get them to fill in a wellbeing form, which just gives info, were they ever on, have they ever had an ops, what medicine are they on, although we
Right.
don't actually need that information.
Right. I got you.
Anyway, the first thing that comes up, she did tell me that she lost a son. Okay, she did tell me that, and about 18 years ago. So the first thing that comes up is things around her heart chakra, which is around the
Breathe.
feeling, either, the love or not feeling the love,
Right.
and a lot of grief and
Lots of
shock.
breathe. Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of shock. She didn't tell me how he died, but there was shock, and there was all kinds of emotions. Anyway, there was other things as well. We went through the session. She got up and she said bye-bye, and I said she was going back to Israel the next day, and I said we can't expect, nobody does one Body Talk session and they're fine. You have to have a couple, like when you go for a physio or you go to a
Uh-huh.
chiropractor, you don't just go once.
Right.
Anyway, I said we can do a session online after it. Anyway, I always send my clients messages. I sent her a message, how you do? How's the pain? She said, I think it's a bit better, but I'm not sure. I said, okay, all right, I'll see you online whenever you want. We did another session, and after that second session, she sent me a message. She said, I don't know what you did, but the pain is gone.
Oh my God.
Nobody in her family can believe it. Her friends can't believe it because they were sick of hearing about it. Every time they saw her, she was talking about the pain. But I'm just showing you, like, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm saying it just shows you. I mean, so where was the pain coming from? The pain was coming from the pain of the loss of the son 18 years ago,
Yeah.
which was not processed. And there were certain times of the year that she was also getting the pain around the birthday, around the time of the death. So it all made sense to me before I even started working. I said, if it was something terribly wrong, the pain would never, it wouldn't go away. It would be there all the time. So it all was around the death, the loss of the son. And when that was tapped out and worked with, she's perfect.
That's awesome. Because I truly believe that too. I believe that we store so much in ourselves, in our nervous system. And when these things happen, a lot of times, we don't deal with them, especially, you know what I mean? So like you're not
No,
processing the grief, but the thing is grief is gonna come. That's why I tell people, I was like, you can't avoid grief. Now you can deal with it and process it, and so you can, get on through it. I said, so it doesn't go and get stored in your stomach and in your back and all these places where it does, and then you have all this pain. But it's gonna come. So you gotta process it,
exactly.
and that's
Exactly.
amazing. That's amazing.
So that was wonderful. That was that made me feel wonderful, I must say, because I mean, I think helping people is the most amazing thing.
Yeah, and
And
really helping them.
but just giving them the awareness of, I mean, with body talk, you can't always say it was this, it was that, it was this, it was that that made you better. But whatever comes up, you the body talk practitioner is guided as to where to go, and somehow those things are related to what the problem is that the person came in for. Definitely.
That's awesome.
So it's like an onion. So you peel one layer and then there's a next layer. I mean, most of us have got hundreds of layers.
Exactly.
And I think most people walk around actually feeling quite unwell. They're just so used to it. They don't know what radiant health and well-being is
Yeah.
because they used to be dizzy all day. They're used to their head throbbing.
Yes.
They're used
Yes.
to their knees giving in. They're used to just dragging themselves around, being exhausted all the time. But that's their norm. But
I was
it's
gonna say,
amazing.
it's like we had people come through that their blood sugar was out of, like 1,000 or something, supposed to be under 100. And so they come through and they don't even know that they're diabetic, for one thing.
Exactly.
And
My
they
husband's
and
one
what
of
that
them.
tells us is what that tells you is that they've been carrying this thing, and so their body has adjusted to those high levels and stuff. And what I noticed, like we had some people that if you got them under 200, they felt sick. So you had to keep them around 200 because that's what their body was used to. And it
Wow.
was crazy, like because I like started working with my husband for hypertension. And one of the things I was asking him was, how do you feel? Because we were checking it. I said, when it goes up, feel how your body feels. Because he didn't even
Mhm.
recognize when it went up. Because I told him, I said, for me, I said, when I had hypertension one time, 1 year, how I knew is I had a headache from hell.
Yes,
Couldn't get
headache.
rid of the headache. Whatever I did, nothing would get rid of it. I tried lavender, I
Very
tried
common.
ibuprofen,
Yes.
everything. But I told him, I said, to me, that told me, I knew my blood pressure is high. And I never had hypertension. But I told him, I said, you got to start paying attention to how your body feels. I said, and then you'll know,
Most people are not, they're not in touch.
no, they're not
There's
in
so
their
many
bodies at all.
people out there that if you ask them, how do you feel? They don't know.
No, they don't. And sometimes it
And
takes a
that's
minute.
like even breath work is
Yeah,
so fantastic. I actually did a breath work workshop about 2 weeks ago. And I thought, well, how many breath things can there be? Wow. I mean, I was blown away by all these different breathings. Some are energizing, some are calming, and your whole system feels so completely different. And it's something you have inside of you every minute of your life you can work with.
yeah,
And the healing properties of the breath is incredible.
yes.
Incredible.
I agree with that totally, 100%. Because I use breath
Yeah.
work as well.
Oh, you
Uh,
do? Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's amazing because for me, I got taken aback a little bit when I started doing some healing work and stuff like that, because I thought, I don't remember learning this stuff that I'm doing. It's like, stuff would just flow, and I would just flow with it and do it, and people would, get results and stuff. And so I want to ask you, um, the other thing that you do, the holistic life coaching, and you do all those together with the mind, body, or how does that work? I mean, with the body talk, how
So
does
the
that
body
work?
talk is body-based work. And
Okay.
then I'm also a holistic health life coach and mind body practitioner. So as opposed to a coach that would be somebody who goes more to corporates and helps executives with their problems, mine is helping people. My niche is people with mental health issues, which I guess is most of the world today.
Yep.
And yeah, it is. And especially teens and tweens. I mean, the kids here in South Africa, I think all over the world, are so stressed.
Yep.
They don't know how to cope. They
Mm-hmm.
are overwhelmed at school with the pressures and the peer pressures and the school pressures and the teacher pressures and the work pressures. And they're all anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are depressed, especially with COVID. I think it also affected the kids
Oh,
terribly,
yes.
being on their own and not part of their peer groups and stuff.
Yep.
Um, so my work with the mind body, why I love it, is because whatever the condition is, even just say somebody's very anxious. So even though they might be on medication, which has got a place, of course, my work teaches them tools and techniques that empowers them to help themselves. So, for example, they would come and just say, for example, somebody comes and they say they've got social anxiety. But social anxiety can be terrible. Whenever you're in a social environment, people get panicky, their heart races, they feel sweaty, they feel they're going to make a fool of themselves, they want to run away or they don't want to go. And so what we would do is, instead of going into the past, which you can do with therapy and why and everything about your family, I'm not saying there's not a place. Coaching is very much in the now and directed to the future. So what
Yes.
are we going to do now? It's very goal orientated. This is where you are now, and where would you like to be? So the client might say, well, I would love, say, within 2 months to be able to go to functions and not feel all these things that I'm feeling now, etc. And then we set goals, and they're very measurable. And through the techniques, I help them through journaling, through breathing techniques, through understanding the mind body connection, and how thoughts are the biggest thing that affect our body, and how, if changing the thoughts, what is she thinking before she goes out to these events, because that is for sure causing a lot of the anxiety, the
Yes.
worry in the mind before. So
Yes.
helping her to change her thoughts, because by changing the thoughts, it's amazing how different she can feel in her body. And if you feel
Yes.
different in your body, your behavior will be different. You'll want to go
Yes.
out more. So there's all these different techniques you can help a person with. And what's nice is they go each week or every second week, and they can practice it at home and
Yes.
come back and say, I was in this situation and I tried this, but this didn't work so well, or this really did help me. And then they've got someone as support and someone they're
Yes.
accountable to.
Mm.
And I really find it helps people tremendously, because it empowers them to
Yeah.
feel that they've got something in themselves they can help themselves with. It's not only relying on the pill out there, you know,
To me,
which
it's
of
like,
course it's got a place. But I'm saying here they're learning about the mind and how they can change that and what to do. And they just there's so many things.
yeah.
The nervous system, what triggers it? How does it work in the brain? How does it impact the body? How can we stop it from going like that? And we can.
Yes.
But these are things people are never taught.
No. Well, I think there's a reason for that. Because if you don't teach people, then they can just be sheep, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they can still keep buying into the death care system. I mean, the healthcare system. And it's like, because to me, this type of work is, I would say, let me say it right, complementary to therapy, because I believe that, um, I don't honestly think that all therapists want
Yes.
people to get better. I think there's a level in there that
No, you've got a point.
some of them just want them to, just get a little better, but still keep coming back. And
No,
and
I do understand.
yeah, and I know there's not all of them. I can't say all of them, but I think that's a culture in that field. Whereas working as a mind body practitioner, or a body talk, or a type of healer, we want them to get better. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We don't want to work with people for 20 years. I mean,
Yes.
that'd be, you know what I mean? But yeah. So it's
And I
like,
think one's got to be humble enough. I mean, I'm not going to help everybody. You're
no,
not going to help everybody.
nope,
My husband's a psychologist. He's not going to help everybody.
no,
And there's not a one size fits all for everybody. I
no.
believe, this is my passion. This is what I work with, but everyone's got to find what works for them. But what I am passionate about is that people try and adopt a holistic approach to their healing, because it can make the biggest difference to you if you don't only look at the physical.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I agree.
it's actually, I mean, if anyone would look on my not even my website, the International Body Talk Association, and read the testimonials there, it's mind blowing. And I'm sure some people think, oh, it can't be true. It's true, because I've seen it,
Hmm.
I've witnessed it. Some people have had pain. I mean, pain is a very common thing.
Hmm.
20 years or more. I mean, living with pain is not an easy thing. And the doctors, the spine is fine, they can't find anything. So the only way they can help is pain alleviation. So
Right.
that's what they can offer.
Hmm.
So even if people get pain relief from the medication, long term, the medication is going to cause other problems. I mean,
Yep.
it's a fact. Long term.
Not only that,
So,
it's gonna stop working after a while. It stops working.
and they also have, and then they have to up the dose. So
Hmm.
I'm saying something like a body talk sessions would get to the underlying thing of where the pain's all coming from. It could be many different things in that person's life that's ended up them having this pain.
Yes.
And by doing that, I know many people who have had chronic pain. And once they've had, however many body talk sessions, they don't have any more pain, because the pain has been emotional pain, psychological pain, subconscious pain. That's where the pain is. But because it manifests in the body, everybody thinks there's something physically wrong with me. And if there isn't, the doctor says there's nothing physical, then they think, well, then I must just live on tablets. They don't think, what about the other parts of me? What's going on in me emotionally? What happens when I was 5?
Yeah.
If they were, some of them were, God forbid,
Molested and
abused,
things. Yeah.
and they've
Hmm.
never dealt with it. It's sitting in the body.
Right. I laughed
Some of them,
because I was laughing because I actually went through that very same thing. I went to the doctor, and they said my shoulder was frozen. And the first thing they said was, "We can't give you any opioids." I said, "I don't want any opioids. I want to know what is wrong with it and what is it I need to do to fix it." I said, "That's what I want to know. I don't want no opioids." I was like, "I don't even do opioids like that anyway. Only one I can take is hydrocodone. I can't take anything else. So I don't really take it unless, something really bad and, I can't stand it. But typically I was like, no, I don't want it. I want to know what's wrong and what is it that I can do to fix this. But that was crazy how they approached it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna help. So, I see how that could be. It's like, you go and they do that. And then of course they didn't do anything. Nothing. They didn't even give me any, even give me ibuprofen, nothing. You know, I almost was like, this was a waste of time. You know, a waste of time and a waste of a drive. But yeah, and so many people are dealing with stuff like that. So this work that you're doing is phenomenal. It's phenomenal because I believe that it'll help so many people, you know, that have been having pain, because you know how many doctors, especially women, tell women that the pain is in their mind.
Oh, that's another thing. It's all in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in your
You
mind.
see, I think I have noticed in my life that doctors do not like to say they don't, they can't help you. There's some, I think it's an ego problem or something, to be able to just say, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't help you, or I don't know what's wrong. You know, I think you've just got to be humble enough to be able to say, I can't help you.
I've
I
been
don't
really
think it's okay.
fortunate. I've been really fortunate. I've had some good doctors just that said that just that. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, maybe you should see, you know, so and so, you know,
Well,
or
yes,
whatever. But I've been
yes,
really fortunate in that. But the other, I think probably too, because sometimes I tell them that I've been in the medical field for decades, and you know, I know bullshit when I hear it.
yes,
You
yes.
know, because they'll do it.
But,
They'll talk all, you know, they'll tell people, and they'll use all these huge big words that a lot of people don't know, and you know, and then by the time they finish, the people don't know what they said.
exactly,
They don't know, and they do that on
exactly.
purpose to like wow you into where you don't even ask questions. You don't know what to ask, you know.
Yes,
But
yes,
this work I think
yes.
is so huge, you know, because this is really where we need to be anyway. You know,
And
learning what the root causes of what we're going
the
through,
root
because that
cause,
really
yeah.
is it.
And what I love about Body Talk is it's a very consciousness based work. So a lot of things that come up are consciousness issues. So you can have the consciousness of rigidity or the consciousness of, say, you've got the consciousness of defense patterns, or somebody's being very heart, the consciousness of heart protection.
Right. Yes,
So
yes,
we'll,
yes.
we'll, we'll get taken to an organ or endocrine body part, and we'll get that there's a consciousness issue. And then we've got a list of a few that could be under each one, and we test which one. And then you say to the person, you know, it's coming up about heart protection. And do you feel that you are living like that? And they'll say, well, lately I've had a breakup with a boyfriend, and I can feel I've built a wall around me and I'm very close. So it's very deep work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they get more awareness of how they are, and obviously me, I get to understand. Okay, so then what does body do? Body talk doesn't like a person to be. So you just say the consciousness is oversensitivity or
Mm-hmm.
sensitivity. So it's not good to be oversensitive in life,
Right,
but it's
right,
not
right.
good to have no sensitivity. So what Body Talk tries to do is to bring a person to a good middle ground place where you're not too much of something and not too little of something.
Yes.
And that's how it works like that. So
So
just say,
basically
I
putting them in
often work with
balance.
we go to the liver, and I might get a consciousness of planning, and I say to the person, do you have a problem with planning in your life? They say, oh, I can't plan, I'm terrible, and I'm so scattered. And then by working with that in the session, they might come and then say, you know, it's strange because I suddenly noticed I'm able to plan better in my life. But this all happens, the body's doing it. They don't have to go home and think, okay, now let me concentrate on being able to plan. Do you understand? The body mind is doing it because of it
Yes.
being picked up in the session and being tapped. The body does it. How it does it, I don't know, but it does it. They might suddenly say, just I've noticed I'm able to plan better. You
That's
know what I'm
awesome.
saying?
Oh
So it's
yeah.
not good to do too much of one thing and too little of one thing.
Oh,
Just
that's awesome.
to be. So the consciousness things are very, very nice because they're deep, and I think they bring big shifts in people.
Yeah.
You know,
So basically
um,
you help them get in alignment.
alignment.
Yes, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
So every time they have a session, there's another layer that's, if they came now and they came in 3 hours later, there'd be different stuff completely.
Yeah.
Because they're in a different space thing. And what's nice is you can work from newborns. The mother can bring the baby and I can work on it, to elderly, no matter what your physical condition is. I don't know the nurses, but I've read that nurses who have done body talk have gone to patients who are in a coma, and they did this tapping, which is just called a cortices technique, where you balance the brain. It's available on the internet. It's amazing. You feel very centered and balanced. And they did this a few times a day on these patients, and I think 4 out of the 6 woke up.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Because I believe in all of that.
It's not a tangible, you understand. I mean, you understand.
Yeah.
You know, people like the very medical, they want the documents and they want to have the you know, all the studies and whatever. But the results speak for themselves.
Right.
You understand?
That's it. It's like, yeah, that's it. It's I know I had somebody ask me one time, they were like, well, what is it that you do? I said, to be honest with you, I don't do anything. I said, the spirit that moves through me does it all.
Yes.
I said, so,
Yes.
you want to do it, do it. You don't want to do it, don't do it. I said, but, you are going to get results, Of course, she did it and she did. So it was like amazing. But I was like, I wish I could put it into words, but I can't.
Yes. No, I understand.
So you want to share any last words, and then I want you to share how the people can connect with you, how they can get in touch with you if they want to experience your goodness.
Well, I just want to say, well, I could talk for 2 days or more on the subject, but if people listen to this and they've got any health conditions that they feel they're at a dead end with, or they're just tired of being exhausted, or they're tired of feeling sick, or I mean, you can have body talk for chronic fatigue, for allergies, for anything, for relationship problems, for insomnia, even infertility because your body's not balanced, for viruses, bacteria. There's nothing that you can't try body talk for. And the mind body coaching, as I've spoken to, more obviously mental health issues. So if anybody would like a session, or what I do want to say is, obviously, one session is not going to get anybody completely fine at all.
Right.
But if anybody wants to go on a journey of body talk or coaching, even though I live in South Africa, we can do it online. It works exactly the same. I'd be only too happy to help you. And I just wish that more people in the world would open their minds up to see that so many of the reasons why people are ill are sitting in the person's emotions, subconscious, psychological sides, which I can help people with through body talk. And the difference it can make to your health and well-being is just incredible, and it's just worth it. And people who have had body talk just say they feel a lightness of being, they feel a more positive outlook, like they've got a spring in their step, and they just feel lighter because you've released stuff, obviously. And in fact, I think everybody should have, once they feel better, to have regular body talk, like once a month, just to maintain the balance in your body and mind, because we've got so much stuff that we bombarded with every day that it's very hard to stay balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
I love
but
that.
I have a website which I think you will put up, and a Facebook page.
Yes.
And I am very happy to say I'm starting a blog, and I'm going to do all my writing about my knowledge about holistic health matters, whether I read a fantastic book that I want to share with you about healing or anything, and it's going to be called Holistic Health Matters. So hopefully once that's up, you can share it with anyone who would like to read it.
Love that. And yeah, once you get it up, also you can send me the link and I'll add it to
Yes,
the.
I'll do that. I'll
So,
do that.
so all of
Yes.
her details will be in the show notes. So if you want to reach her, there'll be the clickable links and all that stuff. Whether you watch it on YouTube or whether you listen to it on any of the podcast places where you listen to podcasts, all of those details will be in there. So you can just click on those if you want to connect with her easily. She's amazing. Her services and her sessions, I can only imagine how people get results, because just the passion that she has and speaking about it is that blew me right there. So I'm super, super excited that you guys have watched us and have joined us. Um, and we just want to just let you know that you can get some healing. So just because you go to the doctor and they tell you they can't find nothing, like they did me and did ultrasounds and MRIs and everything else and couldn't find anything, you can still get healing. You can still get healing. And healing starts, like she said, from the root. So if we can get into the root and she can get into that and help you to transmute the energy that you need in order to heal, oh my God, it would be so worth it. So thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. Me and my guest, Elana Sissison. We've had a blast with you guys, and thank you so much for watching or listening. Bye now.
Thank you so much.